Newly released image of 3E Atlas confirms it's not a comet, stunning researchers worldwide. An enormous object is speeding past planets in our solar system at impossible speed. This thing is massive, glowing, and following a perfect path that looks more like a planned mission than a random rock floating through space. Harvard professor Avi Loeb is making bold claims that this could be alien technology. Could this be a spaceship scouting our solar system? Is it connected to Oumuamua? And are we ready for what this could mean for humanity? Alien object racing toward Earth. This object called 3E Atlas was traveling at over 130,000 miles per hour through our solar system. That speed is so amazing that you could fly from New York to Los Angeles in just over 1 minute if you could somehow catch a ride. But speed was only the beginning of what made this visitor so mysterious and potentially frightening. Within 24 hours of its discovery, NASA experts confirmed what many suspected, but few wanted to say out loud. 3 Atlas had come from somewhere far beyond our solar system, crossing the vast emptiness between stars where no human spacecraft had ever traveled. The object was moving so fast that even our sun's massive gravitational pull couldn't trap it in orbit, meaning it would eventually shoot back out into the cosmic void unless something deliberately slowed it down. But here's where things get really disturbing. This wasn't some small chunk of ice and rock like most visitors from space. Early measurements suggested 3I Atlas could be anywhere from 6 to 9 miles across, making it comparable in size to Manhattan Island. Imagine looking up at the night sky and seeing something the size of an entire city racing overhead at speeds that defy understanding. Harvard professor Avi Loeb looked at all this data and reached a conclusion that sent shock waves through the scientific community. According to Loeb and his research team, 3E Atlas might not be a natural object at all. Instead, we could be witnessing humanity's first confirmed encounter with technology created by an intelligent alien civilization. If he's right, then something from another star system has been traveling through space for thousands of years specifically to study us, and we have no idea whether their intentions are peaceful or hostile, breaking every rule of physics. When scientists first calculated the true size of 3 Atlas, many of them thought their computers had malfunctioned. We're talking about an object that dwarfs every other interstellar visitor we've ever detected by hundreds of times. To understand just how massive this thing really is, we need to compare it to Oumuamua, the mysterious interstellar object that visited our solar system 8 years ago. Oumuamua was already considered impressively large for such a visitor, measuring roughly the length of a football field at about 330 to 380 feet long. That made it easily visible to our most powerful telescopes and gave scientists plenty of opportunities to study its unusual characteristics. But 3E Atlas makes Oumuamua look like a pebble next to a skyscraper. The sheer scale of 3 Atlas raises basic questions about what we're actually dealing with. Natural processes in space can create some pretty big objects. But launching something the size of a small city across interstellar distances while keeping it intact for thousands of years requires forces that barely exist in nature. Most chunks of rock and ice that get ejected from their home solar systems are much smaller, typically measuring in the hundreds of feet rather than miles. What makes the size even more incredible is how it relates to the object's speed at 130,000 miles per hour. 3 Atlas is moving faster than anything we've ever built or even imagined building. The fastest spacecraft humanity has ever launched. One travels at about 38,000 miles per hour, which means 3-2 Atlas is moving more than 3 times faster than our most advanced technology. The physics involved in speeding up something this massive to such incredible speeds are staggering. In the cold emptiness of interstellar space, there aren't many natural forces capable of giving a mountain-sized object this kind of velocity. Gravitational interactions with massive stars or black holes could potentially explain the speed. But the statistical probability of such an object maintaining its structural integrity across thousands of light-years seems almost impossibly small. Even more mysteriously, the speed of 3 Atlas means it's not gravitationally bound to our solar system like everything else we're familiar with. Comets and asteroids from our own cosmic neighborhood follow predictable elliptical orbits around the Sun. But this visitor is moving so fast that it will inevitably escape back into interstellar space after completing whatever mission brought it here. Unless, of course, it uses some form of advanced propulsion system to deliberately slow down and stick around for extended observations. Perfect flight path. As astronomers continued tracking 3E Atlas through telescopes around the world, they discovered something that made even the most skeptical scientists stop and wonder if they were missing something crucial. This interstellar visitor wasn't following a random path through our solar system like most natural objects would. Instead, it was following an almost impossibly perfect trajectory designed to visit as many major planets as possible in the most efficient sequence imaginable. The route reads like a carefully planned itinerary for the ultimate solar system tour. First, 3 Atlas will zip past Mars on October 2nd at a distance of approximately 17.5 million miles from the red planet's surface. While that might sound like an enormous distance, in cosmic terms, it represents what astronomers consider a relatively close encounter that would provide excellent opportunities for detailed observation and data collection. From Mars, the object will continue toward Earth, reaching its closest approach on December 19 at a distance of about 167 million miles. Then it will swing by Venus at just 60 million miles before heading back out toward Jupiter for a final pass at 33 million miles from the gas giant. This entire sequence follows such an efficient and comprehensive path that it appears to have been planned by an intelligence familiar with orbital mechanics and interplanetary navigation. When astronomers calculated the statistical probability of such a perfect trajectory occurring by random chance, the results were absolutely staggering. They determined that the likelihood of an interstellar object naturally following a path that brings it close to 4 major planets in such an organized sequence is less than 0.005%. In mathematical terms, this means that if you sent 20,000 random objects through our solar system, only one of them would naturally follow a route even remotely similar to what 3 Atlas is doing. Either we're witnessing an extraordinarily rare cosmic coincidence that happens less than once in 20,000 attempts, or we're observing something that was deliberately planned and executed by an intelligence capable of interstellar travel and precise trajectory calculations. What makes the path even more suspicious is how it seems designed to maximize observation opportunities while minimizing the chances of detailed study from Earth. The timing of 3I Atlas's closest approach to our planet will occur when it's positioned on the opposite side of the Sun from us, making it virtually impossible to examine with our most powerful ground-based telescopes. It's as if whatever controls this object wants to observe us without letting us observe it back. Following what scientists call a reconnaissance pattern designed to gather information while avoiding detection by the civilizations being studied. It's definitely an alien spacecraft. Professor Avi Loeb from Harvard University isn't someone who makes wild claims lightly. He's one of the most respected astronomers in the world with hundreds of published research papers and decades of experience studying black holes, dark matter, and the earliest galaxies in the universe. So, when he analyzed all the available data about 3I Atlas and concluded we're probably dealing with extraterrestrial technology, the entire scientific community was forced to take his theories seriously. According to Lowe and his research team, everything about 3I Atlas points toward artificial rather than natural origin. The trajectory is too precise and too perfectly planned to result from random gravitational influences acting on a chunk of space debris. The size is unprecedented for an interstellar visitor, suggesting advanced engineering capabilities rather than natural formation processes. Most significantly, the timing of its arrival seems almost too convenient, appearing just as humanity has developed the technology necessary to detect and track such objects. Lowe's team proposes that 3 Atlas might be what they call a reconnaissance probe designed to study as many planets in our solar system as possible while avoiding detailed observation by any intelligent species it might encounter. A carefully planned route would allow whatever controls the object to gather comprehensive information about Mars, Earth, Venus, and Jupiter using sensors and instruments far more advanced than anything humans have ever built. But here's where Lowe's theory gets really mind-bending. He doesn't think 3 Atlas is planning to leave our solar system at all. Instead, he believes it might use sophisticated propulsion technology to slow down and enter a stable orbit around our Sun, possibly near Jupiter, where it would be difficult to detect, but perfectly positioned to continue long-term surveillance of human civilization and technological development. The implications of this scenario are staggering on multiple levels. If Loeb is correct, then an intelligence from another star system has been planning this mission for thousands of years, launching 3I Atlas on its journey around 8,000 years ago when human civilization was just beginning to develop agriculture, writing systems, and permanent settlements. Was it possible that our species had reached some kind of technological or social threshold that triggered interest from distant observers? The Dark Forest Theory. Lowe's spacecraft hypothesis inevitably leads to one of the most chilling concepts in all of science and philosophy. Known as the dark forest hypothesis, this theory attempts to answer one of the most puzzling questions in astronomy. If the universe should be teeming with intelligent civilizations based on statistical probability, why haven't we detected any clear evidence of their existence? The dark forest provides a terrifying possible explanation that keeps many scientists awake at night. The concept gets its name from a simple but absolutely horrifying analogy. Imagine walking through a dark forest where every sound could indicate the presence of a predator waiting to attack. In such an environment, the smartest strategy for survival is to remain as quiet and invisible as possible, because making any noise could attract something bigger, more dangerous, and perfectly willing to eliminate potential threats or competitors. According to the dark forest hypothesis, intelligent civilizations throughout the galaxy face exactly the same dilemma on a cosmic scale. Any species that reveals its presence by broadcasting radio signals, launching visible spacecraft, or otherwise announcing its existence risks being discovered and destroyed by something more technologically advanced and potentially hostile. This creates a universe where every civilization capable of interstellar communication is forced to remain silent and hidden. Not because they're naturally antisocial, but because revealing themselves could result in immediate annihilation. The survival strategy becomes a cosmic game of hide and seek, where the penalty for being found could be the complete extinction of your entire species. Every civilization that reaches technological maturity must make a crucial choice between remaining forever silent and hidden or risking detection by broadcasting their existence to the stars. Those civilizations that choose to reveal themselves may discover too late that they've attracted the attention of something far more dangerous than they ever imagined. The arrival of 3I Atlas raises deeply disturbing questions about whether humanity has already been discovered by entities operating under dark forest principles. If the object really is a reconnaissance spacecraft, then its creators have clearly mastered interstellar travel, which implies technological capabilities that could easily overwhelm anything humans possess. They would have access not just to advanced propulsion systems, but potentially to weapons and other technologies that could threaten entire worlds. The timing of 3I Atlas's journey makes the situation even more ominous. The object began traveling toward our solar system approximately 8,000 years ago, which coincides almost exactly with the rapid development of human civilization. During this crucial period, humans transitioned from small hunter-gatherer tribes to large agricultural societies, developed written language, built the first cities, and began the technological progression that would eventually lead to radio communications, nuclear weapons, and space exploration. Was it possible that these dramatic changes in human society had somehow been detected by distant observers who decided it was time for a closer investigation? If the dark forest hypothesis accurately describes the nature of galactic civilization, then we might be facing first contact with an intelligence that operates according to survival principles we don't understand, with motivations we can't predict, and with capabilities that could determine whether our species continues to exist or gets eliminated as a potential future threat. The Oumuamua Scout Mission. 8 years before 3I Atlas appeared on astronomical radar, another mysterious visitor had already introduced humanity to the bizarre world of interstellar objects that don't behave according to the laws of physics. The object was named Oumuamua, which means messenger from afar, arriving first in Hawaiian. And it immediately challenged every assumption scientists had about natural visitors from other star systems. Oumuamua broke every rule that astronomers thought applied to chunks of rock and ice traveling through space. When it passed close to our sun, it should have developed a bright tail of evaporating gas and dust that would have made it visible across vast distances. Instead, it flew past our star without leaving any detectable trace of such activity, behaving unlike any comet or asteroid ever observed by human telescopes. Even more mysteriously, Oumuamua demonstrated unexplained acceleration that couldn't be attributed to normal gravitational forces or solar radiation pressure. About 40 days before its discovery, the object had passed dangerously close to the Sun at a distance of just 23 million miles. After this solar encounter, it suddenly gained speed in a way that seemed to violate the basic principles of orbital mechanics, reaching velocities that were significantly faster than could be explained by solar gravity alone. The shape of Oumuamua was equally baffling to researchers studying its light reflection patterns. Depending on which measurements and mathematical models were used, the object appeared to be either extremely elongated, like a giant cigar, or unusually flat, like an enormous pancake. Both configurations were completely unlike anything astronomers had ever encountered in their studies of natural celestial bodies, leading some scientists to compare it to artificial structures rather than space debris. Looking back at Oumuamua with the knowledge of 3 Atlas's current approach, some disturbing patterns begin to emerge that suggest these two objects might be connected as part of a coordinated exploration program. Both visitors exhibited unusual trajectories that seemed almost too convenient to be the result of random gravitational interactions. Both lacked the typical characteristics that scientists expected to see in comets or asteroids originating from interstellar space. Most significantly, both appeared at times when human technology was just advanced enough to detect them, but not sophisticated enough to study them in comprehensive detail. The size difference between these two interstellar visitors tells a particularly intriguing story when considered as part of a potential reconnaissance mission. Oumuamua measured roughly the length of a football field, making it an ideal candidate for an advanced scout or preliminary survey probe. It was small enough to avoid easy detection, fast enough to complete its observations quickly, and sophisticated enough to gather basic information about our solar system's planets and any signs of intelligent life they might contain. 3I Atlas, by contrast, is hundreds of times larger and presumably much more capable of extended operations and detailed analysis. If we consider these objects as components of a coordinated first contact protocol, Oumuamua might have served as an initial reconnaissance mission designed to confirm that our solar system contained potentially interesting targets for further study. The 8-year gap between visits would have provided enough time for whoever sent the first probe to receive its data, analyze the information, and then dispatch a much larger and more sophisticated expedition to conduct comprehensive observations of human civilization and technological development. The scientific community fights back. Not everyone in the global astronomy community was ready to start preparing for alien contact based on the evidence surrounding 3E Atlas. The vast majority of professional researchers looked at the same data that convinced Avi Lobo of extraterrestrial origins and reached completely different conclusions, arguing that extraordinary claims about spacecraft from other worlds required extraordinary evidence that simply hadn't been provided yet. The most significant challenge to the alien technology hypothesis came from recent high-resolution photographs of 3E Atlas that revealed details Loeb's theory had difficulty explaining. Images captured by some of the world's most powerful telescopes showed a faint but unmistakable glow surrounding the object that looked remarkably similar to the early stages of comet tail formation that occurs when ice and frozen gases begin evaporating under solar heating. As 3I Atlas continued moving closer to the Sun, this ethereal halo was expected to grow progressively brighter and more extensive, exactly as astronomers would predict if they were observing a perfectly ordinary chunk of ice and rock being heated by solar radiation rather than some form of advanced alien technology. The presence of this developing tail strongly suggested that 3E Atlas was behaving like a completely normal comet that just happened to have originated from another star system. The brightness characteristics of 3E Atlas also provided strong support for the natural comet hypothesis. According to mainstream scientists, the object appeared remarkably bright, even at enormous distances from the Sun, which made perfect sense if its surface was covered with highly reflective ice crystals rather than exotic artificial materials or advanced hull plating. Comets throughout our own solar system are famous for their ability to reflect sunlight efficiently due to the pristine frozen water on their surfaces. And this property matched the observational data much better than spacecraft theories. Critics of Loeb's extraterrestrial hypothesis also raised logical questions about some of his key arguments regarding the object's trajectory and behavior patterns. If 3I Atlas really had been designed by an advanced civilization to study Earth and its inhabitants, why would they plan a flight path that brought their reconnaissance probe no closer than 167 million miles to our planet? That distance represents almost twice the space between Earth and the Sun, which seemed like a remarkably inefficient approach for any intelligence genuinely interested in conducting detailed observations of human society and technology. Alternative explanations for 3 Atlas's unusual characteristics began emerging from research groups at universities and observatories around the world. Some scientists proposed that the object might be a fragment of a much larger celestial body that had been broken apart by a catastrophic collision with another massive object or torn apart by gravitational forces during a close encounter with a star or black hole somewhere in its distant past, a turning point in human history. Regardless of whether 3E Atlas ultimately proves to be a natural phenomenon or evidence of extraterrestrial intelligence, astronomers worldwide unanimously agreed that this discovery represented something genuinely extraordinary in the entire history of human observation and scientific research. The official designation 3.2 in the object's name told a remarkable story about just how incredibly rare and precious this opportunity really was for advancing our understanding of the universe. The number 3 indicated that this was only the third interstellar object ever detected and confirmed by human observers since we began systematically searching the skies for visitors from other star systems. The letter I stood for interstellar, a classification that immediately set these objects apart from the millions of asteroids, comets, and other debris that populate our own solar system and follow predictable orbits around our sun. Confirmed interstellar visitors are so uncommon that each one represents a unique scientific treasure, offering insights into distant regions of the galaxy that would otherwise remain completely inaccessible to human study. Every interstellar object carries within its composition and behavior crucial information about conditions in other star systems. The violent processes that can eject material into the cosmic void and the incredible journeys that can last millions of years before reaching our cosmic neighborhood. The first interstellar visitor, Oumuamua, had taught scientists valuable lessons about what to look for when such objects appeared. But it had also highlighted humanity's complete lack of preparation for studying visitors from beyond our solar system. By the time astronomers realized what Oumuamua represented and began organizing comprehensive observation campaigns, the object was already too far away for detailed analysis with existing instruments and techniques. The second confirmed interstellar visitor, Comet 2I Borisov, discovered in 2019, had provided a much better opportunity for scientific study because it was detected much earlier in its journey through our solar system. However, Borisov had behaved very much like typical comets from our own cosmic neighborhood, offering valuable comparative data, but fewer fundamental surprises and mysteries to challenge our understanding of physics and astronomy. 3 Atlas was profoundly different from both of its predecessors in ways that made it uniquely valuable for advancing human knowledge about the nature of the universe and our place within it.